I see. Is it working now? Test, test, test. It looks like it's working now. I think it's working. I just had a mic, or looks like it wasn't plugged in all the way. I couldn't tell. I don't check things before. I just throw things together and hope for the best. Not always the best option. Qualifying. I think we can do... Oh no, let's see who we got here. I think we can do a top 5. I'll have to definitely try and get a slipstream if I can. That's going to be key, I think. Some guys are on mediums. What's up, Daz? I don't know how to say that one. Hello, everybody. We're gonna try and make this work. Because if anything, I'll help make his lap back up, but fortunately, I'm the one towing everyone around. What's gonna happen? I didn't realize Defson was in here. I didn't even notice. Oh. Fourth. Wow. Hey! What's going on, Z28? Long time no see, how are you? We'll go mediums, and I guess we'll just see what happens. Points aren't super great. Alright, let's see. Well, top 5 is good. Renault will be difficult. I think the Citroen's good too. What's everyone driving? The Caymans, SLS. I don't know. We'll be okay. Yeah, first corner is going to be a mess. But you never know. I'm just going to try and run really clean and consistent. No, I do not want to download iTunes right now. Thanks, Daz. I'm gonna need some luck, I think. We'll just see if we can trail the top 3 and squeeze our way onto the podium, maybe. Yeah, I definitely could have made up. I think we could have been second on that, if not for the first corner little wobble and stuff with just a stagger. But I'm happy with 4th. Better than I thought I would do, honestly. I think what's good for this car on the Aston is that it does have some top speed. I'm actually just using the TGT this time, but I've got everything. I've got the F1 wheel. Let's see, I got the PC Racer, and let's see what else. Ferrari wheel. That one's the 48. I'm gonna get a rack for him now. I need like something to like hang him on the wall, you know. Ooh, Alpha and the McGain could no stop. I'd be curious to see that. I would think the Honda should be able to do that too. They can just run mediums through the whole way. Ain't no way I'm doing that though. No way. I think I can just run 7 laps. 7 laps medium, 7 soft, but I'm not really too sure. I was trying to save like as much fuel as possible. I think we can get one off the start here. Maybe not. A little cautious. I think I could have taken Stinky Bug on that, but that's alright. The problem with this Aston is it just has so much tire wear and has so much understeer that it's really, really difficult just to keep up with these guys sometimes in these tighter sections. That's full turn and that's not doing anything. Greatest place to go for a pass, because now it's just slowing both of us up. So he's got the pass, but he, instead of just doing it at a later time, we now both been slowed up. I've got the top speed, but I have no handling. Nice. Couldn't pass me without hitting me. Welcome, TTG. At least I have some top speed. I think I have to save a lot more fuel than them too, which is a little tricky. Come on, I even left room for you. Curious, if I give him a bump, will it make me SR down? Whoa! What the heck? That was the weirdest little like glitch of hitting a curb I've ever seen. It just like completely threw the car sideways. At least I can catch up in this draft. Just getting used to these new pedals. Come on, turn. I don't think there's a car in this game that has worse understeer than this thing. Interesting. Speedy Slot's going in a lap early. Don't know if I could have done that corner any better. Polyphony make this thing worse? Like, I don't know if in the last update they made this thing worse, but it's so shit. Oh shit. Oh wait, no, I do need that. Never mind. I thought I like selected mediums on accident. I don't know if there's any way I can keep this up and not in this car. So I'll get past here, and the Destroyer will be right there. Got a better handling car for sure. You can't lunge at that. That's so ridiculous, Destroyer. Why do I get hit by both TTG people? Come on. Fucking classic. Just lunge it from like 100 yards back. Why does my car struggle so much through there? Oh, don't leave me out to hang. I don't know if I like playing this game anymore. The cars aren't even guys. The car's BOP is not even close. Racecraft in this game is terrible. I hope there's a BOP update soon. Like, I can't even try to keep up with these guys because my tire wear is so terrible, and the car already understeers a ton. So for me to even try and keep up is so difficult. I mean, like, this GR4 car is a second, not a second off the pace, like, to the top. Yeah, the slipstream's way too strong. It's insane. Like, honestly, in a real car, it's half a second. We'll stop. Do the other people not have to, like, fuel save, or am I just doing it all wrong? the guys ahead all have 7? Ah, son of a bitch. So, rule of thumb, don't pick the Aston if you want to win manufacturers. It's bad. Bad choice. I'm really hoping they do a BOP update. I desperately need it, this thing. Too short. Like, look how slow I have to go through everything. Looks like a good battle up front. I wish I could be part of it. Like, the fact that the Lexus can drive from like 12th up to 2nd is pretty amazing. Like, Armour's a really good driver, Stagger, but still, like, for that RCF to do that, it's obviously an OP car. I'd be interested to look at everyone else's replay and see if, like, I'm really just that trash on fuel and tires. I don't know. Someone tell me my Aston's really just junk, or if I just suck. It could be a combination of both. I'm not really sure. But, like, this car has always been, especially like the GR4 car, this Aston's always been like mid-pack. And I don't know what we've got to do to get the Aston to go. Or at least be above average. I don't know. It's just, it's trash right now. Yeah, I don't know why the tire wear needs to be at 11 either. Kind of sucks. Honestly, I'm thinking about stopping playing Gran Turismo. It's just not... The cars aren't even. The racing's not that great. Like, the world tours you go to, you don't get anything from it. Like, it's a cool trip, but, like, once you've done the trip, at least for me, like, I've gotten to travel a lot beforehand, so... I don't know. Like, you don't get anything out of it. It used to be fun. Like, I wish we could go back to the first year when... It was like, you get one shot at doing a race. You didn't have all this like ridiculous tire and fuel. And it was fun back then. It was like, it was fun to race with everyone, and it was easy. And it's like, most of these people are just going to go and do it again, and do it again, and do it again. And they're going to do, you know, they do all 5 rounds. They spend 5 hours just trying to get some points. So, I don't know. It's just kind of crazy. It's just not, I don't know. If you want to live a real life, it's a bit of a struggle. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm enjoying this much anymore. Hopefully something will change. But on that poor note, I'm going to sign off on this one. I don't know if I'll be on for Wednesday. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe it's a GR3 race. I think that's the only way I could be competitive. Let's see. Frickin' hell. Jesus. Okay, wait, never mind, sorry. It's like more GR4 races. GR3. Interlagos might be okay. Tokyo Expressway. don't know, like, Tokyo Expressway is not fun. I don't know. It's losing its luster, guys. The reason I didn't go to Sydney is because, one, I've been there twice, and honestly, like, the biggest reason is that they're not paying, they're not giving any sort of like prize money or incentive for people to go. That's something I've been fighting them a lot on. It's something that I've tried to get them to do for us drivers, is to give us some sort of pay. Since Paris, that's why I didn't go to Paris last year. I messaged one of the people there at GT. I got a message back from Kazunori directly on it, but I think it's unfortunate that these guys are spending just insane amount of time playing this game. I mean, guys are putting in 20 plus hours a week just trying to be at the top, and for what? Like, at the end of the day, for me, I like to go do real things. I like to be social. I like to go live my life, outside of GT. GT's fun, but it doesn't pay the bills. I'm fortunate enough that I'm sponsored, which kind of like helps me out with a lot of this, but there's a lot of people who are not getting that. One of the guys lost his job because he's trying to do this and taking too much time off. So I think there's got to be some sort of big change. Honestly, I hope Polyphony will do that. I hope that they will pay the drivers or put up prize money. I think they need to allow teams. I think that's a big major issue. They need teams to present themselves and their sponsors and put that up, because right now they kind of have like monopolized their own tournament, if that makes sense. So, like, we can't go in there and you can't get sponsored by Nike because it's sponsored by Puma. You can't go in there, maybe get sponsored by Rolex and wear a Rolex because it's sponsored by Tag Heuer. Whereas like all the other racing series in the world, you're allowed to run your custom livery car and wear suits with, your branding on it, and, do different types of activation. And I think that's what we're missing with GT. They put on a great show, a great event. I love all the people there and thank them for their incredible amount of hard work. But there's got to be some sort of return on investment, and right now it's zero. The first year I was like, okay, we'll see where this goes. The second year it's like, okay, I need to push and try and get some sort of, return on that investment of time. And like this third year, if they're not going to do that, it's a really big struggle. So, my biggest things is they need to pay people. They need to do BOP per the track and make them even. They need to allow different sponsors and teams in. I think that's going to be huge. And they really, really, really need to fix this. Like Nations Cup is Tuesday, then Manufacturer Wednesday, then Saturday Nations again, and Manufacturer. So 4. So if you race all 5 slots, you're at like 20 hours just in a week. So if someone's going to spend 80 hours a week just to try and hopefully get to like a world tour, it's insane. And then you get nothing out of it. Like I said, trips are cool, but there's got to be something at the end of the day that the drivers can earn out of it. And if they can't present their sponsors, people aren't going to want to sponsor it. Companies and brands aren't going to want to sponsor it because they're not getting their brand out there. So I love PD, but I think they're going to shoot themselves in the foot if they don't change something, which is really sad to see. A lot of us drivers in the World Tours have voiced our concerns, and unfortunately they don't really seem to want to listen. So I don't know. Igor's doing his own thing. Mikhail didn't go because he has school. Tom, or Veloce Storm. Bonjour, Storm. He didn't go because he has school. I didn't go because, I wasn't going to earn anything out of it. I'd miss work. A lot of us are just kind of giving up on it. Something's got to change. But unfortunately, we haven't seen that yet. So, I don't know. I'm hoping that PD invests in the drivers and kind of stands behind us, because I think we have a lot of good ideas, and we're obviously the players. They need the players to put on a show. Everyone else, who works there and puts on the events and stuff, they get paid for what they do.
they're involved in the process, and I think it's really, really important for them to continue to have their game be successful and these World Tours be successful, by listening to the players and the people and trying to formulate a good plan moving forward. Because right now it just, I don't know, it seems like it's like one step forward, one step back, one step forward, one step back. And I don't know, it just, a lot of people aren't having any fun anymore. And it's really hard to see that because, like I said, the first year was a blast. I had a lot of fun racing with everybody. It wasn't this huge time commitment, but I think it's time for things to be serious. And I don't know, until I see that, I think it's really hard for me to invest my time and effort in this when I can, I can go work and make money. To be honest, I can go hang out with my friends. I can go travel around and do my own stuff. Like I do this because it's fun. I do it because I like to race with my friends. But I don't know. It's not really, hasn't really been that great anymore. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see if things change. I'm gonna write a letter to Polyphony this week. I've had it for like a month now on a bunch of stuff. And then I don't know. We'll see if they'll listen and change things. And, if not, I'll probably stop playing. So, unfortunately, I might just do it for fun, but I'm not going to do the World Tours. I'm not going to, put all this time into the FIA stuff. So, I don't know. I'll probably move over to iRacing and go do that. I've had some fun doing that with some friends and probably run the Enduros and stuff this year. But, I don't know. Just take it as it goes. I'm trying to focus this year a lot more on like my real life and putting things together because I've been kind of postponing things and not taking some other like real life things as seriously as I'd like to. So I don't know. That's kind of just where my focus is at 27. Daz, what amount would be suitable though? I mean, that's hard. I think it should be 150 to 200 euro a day per person. I think that's on average. Most people, I think, we'll say 100 to 200 euro a day. If you're working full time. So I think they just need to. I think they just need to reimburse people what they would miss for work. People have to pay for food. They have to pay for their travel. They have to pay for, their own housing. They have to pay for all these things, in real life so they can live a real life. It just seems like right now it's going to turn into essentially what racing in the real world is, where it's just a bunch of people who can either afford the time and or the money to be able to go to these things. And you're not going to get that talent. So if the top players aren't supported in the way they need, they're going to go somewhere else. We can't all afford that time and that expense to, go to these World Tours and compete. Don't see why people are so determined to qualify for a World Tour. Determined, I think is what you mean. That you don't see that people are determined. People have been screwed over the World Tour events. Yeah, I mean, it's shitty, but like that's racing though too. For these like Andrew Brooks, I feel so bad for him. He's insanely quick. He puts in so much time and effort just to get screwed at these World Tours. I think a big thing too that they need to change is the need to bring damage in. I think it's ridiculous that someone can, basically T-bone you and just drive off with nothing, So I think that's been a little bit of a hurt when it comes down to, playing the game and especially like doing these World Tours, as people get so aggressive and they know that they can push someone off the track and not suffer any consequences. You can literally push someone off and get a 2-second penalty. So it's like, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, they got to be a little bit more strict on that. And bring damage in, I think. Any other questions while I'm on this rant? I don't know. I've got a lot of insight. It's obviously like how it runs, and a lot of opinions. But at the end of the day, like us as players have to give our feedback to them as a group to change things if we want. But I can't even remember. Tempotas. I have no idea. When you start, what do you mean? When did I start playing the game? if that's the question, I started playing the first one in like whatever it was, like 1990, shoot, like 7, 8. I have no idea. You need coaching to get on tour. Hey, I offer coaching. You can drop me an email, nick@nickmcmillan.com. I'd be happy to help. I've got one client actually that I do coach who's super, super, super close to making it, and I really, really, really hope he makes it. Good rant, I agree. Yeah, thanks you. I think a lot of us agree. Again, it's got to be known. People got to talk about it. For things to change. If everyone just hides it, it's gonna keep happening. The same thing is gonna happen over and over and over again. So, the more everyone talks about it, the better. I saw like Lewis Bentley is one who's very open about what he thinks, which is fantastic. He's posting on Twitter. Even David Perrell's posting on Twitter, going back and forth, and Tom, Mr. Veloce Storm, chatting up, and I don't know. Everyone's kind of putting their voices out there. I know Tijani did a video last year at some point. We're still facing the same issues, so I'm really hoping that things change with that. So it's not anything new, that's for sure. But I don't understand why now we got to spend even more time, have even more rounds, and do that. So, yep. I don't know. Any last more questions? Any more opinions wanted? Any more ranting you want me to go on about? We'll give it 30 seconds. If there's nothing, I want to close this one down. What is the end game in my mind? Is the end goal for gamers to become racers, or has esports become its own end? I think esports is its own end. I think a lot of people, Lester, oh yes, the big dick Nick, thank you, since New York. Anyway, sorry. The end game, I think the esports side of things, like we've already seen, like League of Legends and I don't know, all the battle royale games and stuff, and Call of Duty and whatever, where guys are making money. These gamers are making money playing it. They have sponsors, they have these competitions with prize money. I think that's where the sim racing esports side needs to go. I don't see why it should be any different at the end of the day. So I think that's the end game, is to really get it set up where there is a professional championship or 2 or 3. With prize money. I would love to see manufacturers get involved. I think that would be huge. I don't know if the end goal is for a lot of the gamers to become racers. Obviously, like for me, I love it. I went through GT Academy so I could get into professional racing. Thankfully, I was really fortunate and it worked out. But I think a lot of guys just want to do it for fun. They don't want to race real cars, but it's awesome that they have those competitions. I would love to see those continue. I think it's fantastic. I mean, even Ferrari has said that they'd like to see the esports stuff, be part of the Young Driver Academy or the Driver Academy as a whole. So, I'd love to see that mesh between the real and, the sim. So we'll see if that, keeps going. I think that's a really strong part. I would love to see like more drivers come through the ranks, doing esports and sim racing stuff, and then getting into those real cars, because I think there's so much training you can do, and it's becoming so much more realistic. A lot of these guys really can jump in and be just as good as some of the professionals. It's I've experienced it firsthand. I've seen more people do it outside of just myself, of course. So yeah, it's definitely possible. But end game right now, sim racing's got to hit that professional level. There's got to be sponsors. There's got to be prize money. There's got to be some sort of return on investment for everyone involved, the players, the people putting the events on, the sponsors, etc. Adam, you agree that a cash prize right now, it's like the World Tour players are just there to promote the game? Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think that's one of the big problems right now, is a lot of us feel like we're just helping helping GT put the game on. Of course they put on an event we're all very fortunate to do that. But something I've learned, in life is that no one ever really, like, you never want anyone who ever says like, oh, you should be grateful for this, or like you owe me this. Like that's not something that I want to be involved in. And right now, unfortunately, like that kind of feels like what the situation is. I mean, granted, the sim racing side of things has to kind of start somewhere and build up to a point where people can make money off of it, get sponsors, etc. But we're also in this point where sim racing is not being taken seriously, like in the esports world, because there is no money in it, if that makes sense. At least in my opinion, everyone would love to watch a Monaco Grand Tour, grand finale, and see who's going to win $100,000. Like that would be huge, I think. And I would love to see it be more serious, like with just the series itself. Like it should be like going to World Tour should be like you have 5 World Tours, and then the last one, be the World finale, and you earn points. So like manufacturers or Nations Cup, like it'd be awesome because you'd get people who want to be at each World Tour. You'd have these teams who want to be at each World Tour for manufacturers and have the same drivers and earn the points. And I think that would be fantastic to see, and have that be more serious. Yeah, GTR Nismo for sure. If you're good at something, never do it for free. That is something I've learned. It's what a lot of people have to learn. I've always found that you've got to respect yourself in order for other people to respect you, if that makes sense. So you got to fight for what you want. Yeah, you're going to step on some people's toes. You're going to upset some people, but that's what you have to do sometimes to make change. I have probably been that person who's been bothering the PD staff to try and get things to change. But squeaky wheel gets the grease, and again, like the more people talk about it, the more people come forward who are kind of in the same position as I am. I think the better for everyone, and hopefully the better for the future of sim racing and esports in general. It's crazy how much shade real life racers throw towards esports, especially in the past year or two. Yeah, it's really interesting. I found like with the real racers, they're either like 100% involved and they love sim racing, or they like can't stand it. The joke is always like, oh, there's no reset button. But the thing is, in a sense, like, yes, I'm not physically here like with my heart rate elevated and like sweating because it's 120 degrees inside. There's not that like physical aspect, but it still takes a talent to drive. And it's cool that with sim racing, I have a wheel, I have pedals, and I'm driving. Like I'm physically doing the same thing I would be doing in the real car. The muscle memory is there. I'm learning tracks. I'm learning how to brake. I'm learning how to correct a car if it starts to spin. So like that's the cool thing, where I think a lot of like the real life racers who throw shade towards sim racing, that's where I think they get it wrong. It's hugely beneficial. I mean, you look at Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, for example. You've got Lucas Ordonez and all these people who can race a real car and can do the sim racing stuff, who are really jumping on board with it. And the more that gets mixed together, I think the better. But better for racing, the real life, and better for the sim racing stuff as well. So I think they kind of go hand in hand at this point. But again, racing's expensive, and I don't think a lot of people realize that. I don't think a lot of people realize that 90 to 95% of those guys out there are paying to race. I mean, I talked to like all the Blancpain teams, like to run a GT3 season in Blancpain as one driver, not the whole car. It's €240,000 to about €300,000. And then this is insane. I don't know why it's so much more in America. But I talked to some different like teams to run GT3, trying to run IMSA full season, and that for one driver is roughly $900,000 to $1 million. So it's impossible. Like sponsors don't want to sponsor that. I tried for like 2 or 3 years to get sponsors. And when you talk to someone saying, "Hey, I need $1 million for a seat," you can wrap your car and we can do these activations on site. It's really hard. So when sim racing, I can literally go out and I can buy a TV, a PlayStation, and some of these people are just on controllers. You can literally go and buy like used everything, or just play it on whatever television you have. You can go spend $200 or $300 and like qualify for a world tour, and and go do something. So that's the cool thing, with sim racing. And if you want to wheel and pedals, I mean, you can get like a Thrustmaster T150, I think, for like $100, $150. So, you can start cheap and you learn a lot from it. And that's something that you can then, put into the real world, So it helps. Everything helps. But yeah, real racing is a struggle. So, I'm doing the sim racing stuff because it's fun to kind of like keep up with it. I get to, race and compete with some of the guys that I race in real life, which is really fun. So, it goes hand in hand. It's all about having fun, having a good time. You buy GT Sport for $6? That's impressive. I don't know what other games you can even buy for $6. But yeah, I mean, you get free updates and free cars and tracks and stuff like that. It's brilliant. I mean, iRacing I love, but it's so expensive even just for iRacing. I had to buy a car today because I think I might try and do the 12 hours of Sebring on iRacing and run some of the Enduros this year. And it's like $12 for a car. I do not want this replay to go. Yeah, you pay $15 for a track. And it's you still pay a membership fee. So it's nice that GT Sport is really accessible. It's cost-wise, it's probably one of the cheapest ones for sure. Trying to get a real racing career is costly and it's a money blow for life. Dude, absolutely. I know kids who are getting $3 to $4 million a year from their parents or whatever else there is, who that's what they're spending per year. And they do it year after year after year after year. It's insane, you've got some kids who are like, oh, I only get $300,000 or $400,000 a year. I can't afford to do racing. But it's they're poor in terms of some of the other people out there. It's pretty crazy. You think if people get paid, then pro drivers like Igor shouldn't be able to enter because it's just a game and a console, but compensation for not working sounds fair. I don't know if I understand that comment. Let me try and read it again. I do think if people get paid, then pro drivers like Igor shouldn't be able to enter. So you're saying if Igor is getting paid and he's making some money, then he shouldn't be able to enter GT Sport? He shouldn't be able to do the GT Sport competitions anymore? What we don't want is a game taken away from gamers because then it's only time before gaming dies. I don't think gaming will ever die. I don't know where you draw the line where real racers can't do the sim racing thing. I mean, for example, they just had that event in Miami or something, and it's Juan Pablo Montoya won $4,000 against other gamers. Juan Pablo Montoya has been there, done that, and he's made plenty of money over the years. He's got plenty of money, and then there's these gamers who, enter too, and so he's the one who wins. So that's a bit of a struggle. There are guys in there who competing who I know pay for their rides too, in real life. So it's when it comes down to cash prizes like that, it's kind of hard when someone's already racing in real life and paying for their rides or getting sponsorship and to pay for those rides to enter the gaming side. I don't know. It's a gray area. I understand that nobody wants that and that they want to kind of keep it to gamers, but it's also a struggle because you kind of sometimes need the real racing drivers to help promote that. So it's a little bit of a struggle. You don't think pro racers... Sorry. No, I think pro racers shouldn't be able to go on world tours. Yeah. I mean, I sort of agree with that. Again, that's such a hard way to put it. I don't know where you'd draw that line. Because I've raced professionally before. So then you have to kind of consider okay, well, what if it's me who hasn't raced in a few years professionally? Should I not be able to go on those world tours too? So that's where you have to draw the line that I think it can be a little bit of a struggle. Sorry. If I got Canquali, I'm guessing English is maybe not your first language, or we misspelled this. I'm not sure. If I got Canquali, real paid racer or not, you can't really say no to one and say yes to another. Yeah, I think that's fair too. That's a little bit of a struggle. It's who do you say yes and no to, because I don't know, like a real racer might not get paid, they might be paying, but they still want to enter. So that's a little bit of a struggle. Maybe if they're currently racing, they shouldn't be able to race. Yeah, that's potentially an option. I don't know. I think it's, I don't know. Yeah, I can't speak for what would be fair on who should go and who shouldn't, because in theory it should kind of be open to everybody. Maybe they have a pro racer race as well. I think that would maybe work too. See, Igor is an interesting situation. Igor is, if I'm being honest, I think Igor has a little bit of money to back him. And now he's gotten the Gran Turismo sponsorship and the McLaren Shadow stuff that happened last year that I think has helped funded him. I know his dad works quite a bit to try and help Igor get to where he goes and do all that. Gosh dang it. So like Igor's is a little bit tricky because Igor might not be making money, but he's got sponsorship money who's helping pay for his rides. So it's like, should Igor be able to be involved, especially if he started there? Well, he didn't start in sim racing. Sim racing just helped him bump up to like the F3 and stuff that he's doing now. So see, like that's one of those examples too where it's a little bit of a struggle. You've got like Matt Simmons as well, who Matt obviously won GT Academy just like I did. Raced professionally, has kind of been off the scene for like the real professional racing, and then and then Matt has been doing the world tours and everything, and then I believe he's also racing professionally again this year. He has something set up, to my knowledge. So then that becomes a little bit tricky too. So I don't know. Yeah, Igor is definitely sponsored by GT. Obviously, you can tell. So I think GT is obviously trying to help Igor and use Igor as someone who they want to promote to help promote the game. That's obviously like Igor's dad is always there with him putting that together. And it makes sense from a business standpoint, I think, to sponsor Igor, especially with kind of the run he's got going at the moment. They want to use that momentum. He did the World Tour and won that, or won in 2018 for Nations Cup, and he won McLaren Shadow, and so he's really kind of like the epitome of like kind of the sim racer and what you can do with that. He does have a lot of driving experience, so it's not complete sim racer to real racer, but he is being a great brand ambassador, for that. And the higher he goes, I think the more respect that everyone will give sim racing at the same time too. So, it makes sense. Like I can see where it makes sense to sponsor Igor and to promote him to, try and get him somewhere to help kind of the greater good, I guess. But anyway, I think on that note, I'm going to wrap this one up. I appreciate the chat. I appreciate you guys asking questions and letting me rant a little bit. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll keep going. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Convince me. But thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it as always. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Unless you're in Australia, I guess it's Monday. So enjoy your week.